All right, welcome to episode 34. In this episode, I'm going to be ranking the Hell House LLC quadrilogy, the found footage franchise, and do a found footage quiz at the end. And also review 5 movies that are on Shudder from this year. Movies like Perpetrator, Elevator Game, The Puppetman, From Black, and another one, I believe. I'm blanking on what it's called, but there's going to be 5 movies from this year, so the fifth one will be a surprise, I guess. Um, so yeah, 5 movies, all on Shudder, and let's go from least favorite to favorite. So let's jump into these movie reviews. All right, so let's talk about Perpetrator by the director of the wraparound segment in VHS 94. Is the only thing I've seen from her. I think she's only directed a couple of feature length movies, this being one of them. And so, yeah, this one got released a few months back, and I obviously was not a big fan of it. That's why I'm talking about it first. This one was my least favorite of the 5 movies. Uh, and what is it about? It's a strange, supernatural, coming of age horror movie where a girl who's about to turn 18 discovers that she's inherited some powers of like empathy along with some other things from her, her mom who's missing. She's living with her dad, and then she goes to live with her aunt, and then she enrolls at this school. It might be an all girls school. I didn't see. Oh, no, there's the one boy. There's like one male student there that we see who has any lines at least. And then there's the principal, and then the one dude's dad. So there's 3 male characters outside the dad at the beginning. But spoiler, that's not really a man. That's a woman. So there's 3 men characters in this movie, and of course all of them are assholes. And so yeah, you got this. She's going to this new school where all these girls end up missing, and then when she discovers these powers of hers, she uses those powers to try to track down the killer, or she wants to find the killer, known as the perpetrator. And he's wearing this mask of like an old dude or something. Or no, she's wearing a mask at one point of an old woman, and then I think he's just wearing her face, and he's capturing these women to use their body parts for something. His motive isn't really fully fleshed out at the end. I'm not sure what the fuck is going on half the time in this movie. It's very confusing. It just seems very messy. It's a very artsy, independent film, a little too artsy. Like, it's just confusing. Like, the first hour was a bit of a drag. I was very confused, asking so many questions. I didn't understand the characters' motivations, like why they're at certain places, what they're there for. I feel like there's scenes missing where they talk about what they're gonna do. Like, they just end up at places, and you're like, what brought them here? And I don't know. And what the hell was her plan once she got captured from the perpetrator? Like, I don't know. And like, there's a forced like lesbian romance in the movie where it's like, oh hey, you're the one that was puking in the toilet earlier. Let's make out. And then I'm just supposed to buy into the romance. It just felt so forced. And the script is just convoluted. And yeah, there's like the killer has like a anus on his chest. It looks like an anus. He's got something. He's putting tubes in it and like doing blood transfusions or whatever. It gets very weird at the end. It's a very strange movie, but not strange in a fun, entertaining way that piques your curiosity and it makes you want to see where it's going. I don't give a fuck where this was going. And like her powers, I don't understand her powers that she's got. Like, she can feel other people's feelings, and then if someone has a nosebleed, she has a nosebleed, so she feels what they feel and feels whatever pain they feel. Like, if someone gets punched in the face, she feels it too. Or like, she's like that character in Life is Strange True Colors, but even more powerful, because then she ends up like, she becomes Freddy Krueger. She makes a bed literally turn into like a portal. It turns into like the bathtub scene in Nightmare on Elm Street, where all of a sudden she can just pull you in, and now you're in some other world, and it makes no fucking sense. Like, how is she doing this? How does she learn how to do it? just makes little sense. And are they immortal? They call their powers the forevering, meaning that they're gonna be forever, like they never die. And they show like a black and white photo of her aunt. I think it was her aunt. I could be wrong, but that's how I read that scene. Like they're saying that they live forever, even though they are aging. So how does that work? Like immortal ages. So are they like vampires? Like at the end, she straight up has almost vampire like teeth, but they're more monstrous. They're not perfect fangs or very like jagged. Like what the hell's going on there? Like why is her teeth all fucked up all of a sudden? Yeah, the dialogue at times was very awkward. The only thing I will remember from this movie is the what do you call it? The not fire drill, what's it called? The active shooter drill. They have like this active shooter drill at the school where the principal is just wearing a mask and like a raincoat, bursting into the classrooms with a water gun filled with fake blood, and he's just squirting the students like, you lost, you're dead, and now you get a 0 or whatever. Like I don't know, it's just so stupid. No, I don't think any schools have drills quite like that. Um, so yeah, this was not for me. Not for me in the slightest. Asshole male characters. This was obviously written by someone who doesn't like men. It just wants them to look like assholes and rapists and wanting to use women. I thought they were going like a Stepford or Stepford wives direction. Like they're taking parts of these girls for their wives and they're trying to like, because this one chick always looks like she just got out of like plastic surgery because she's got bandages all over her face. So it's like they're taking these parts from the girls and they're putting it on this like guidance counselor at the school. Like for what for, and who is she with? I thought she was with the cop, but then it seems like the principal's going down on her in one scene and they're together, but they're not. Like I don't fucking know. This movie's a mess. Fuck this movie. Moving on, not for me. Elevator Game from Rebecca McKendry, who directed last year's Glorious, Canadian supernatural horror movie about a cursed elevator game that apparently is real. I never heard of it, but apparently this is like based on something that's recent, some internet game. But yeah, it's an elevator game that has a couple quick gore shots, colorful red lighting. Once they like take this elevator to this supernatural other dimension, it's like all this red lighting, so it looks kind of cool. But it's a gimmicky, uninteresting premise to me. As the Asian character said early on, what's so fun about watching teenagers ride an elevator for 20 minutes? I agree with him. A lot of this movie is them just riding a fucking elevator, hitting buttons in a certain order to activate this portal. The acting is bearable, but the characters aren't all that great. The only character I root for is the one looking for his sister, although Matt became entertaining when he ran to a restaurant in one scene later in the movie and stole a bunch of salt, mumbling to himself. It has some humor sprinkled in, but it's mostly serious. After the lackluster opening kill, boring opening, it feels like a bright and fluffy kids comedy movie for like 15 minutes after the opening. So that was weird. The tone in the movie is very off. And the dialogue feels censored where they say frick instead of fuck. So again, very Disney. I felt like I was watching like a PG horror film for about 20 minutes there. And the ending was very all of a sudden anticlimactic, and there's no real way to stop this curse. They never find out anything about it, how to stop it. So it's just very doom and gloom. All they give you is a quick 30-second flashback exposition scene towards the end to explain the origins of the curse. Why those specific floors in that order, I don't know. I did like the look of the Red World. The bone popping, body contortionist, ghost walking abnormally trope is done yet again. But the backstory explains why, at least, so they make that make sense at least. The movie could have used more humor or more gore or something to distract me from the stupid gimmicky premise. And too many off-camera kills. The ending sucked. Not a big fan of this one. I already talked about that. All right, the Puppetman. All right, so this one, another gimmicky horror film. We've seen done before, but It's generic, predictable, ends exactly how you would expect it to, but at least throws in a couple mean-spirited kills and an homage to Happy Birthday to Me. Outside of the kills, there's not much else to say positive about it. The acting's average, I guess, nothing amazing. The script is weak. The friends in this also aren't great. They set up their deaths from the start like Dream Master with foreshadowing dialogue. A lot of movies like to do that. They'll say something. That's a Wrap earlier. I talked about That's a Wrap a few episodes back. That movie also did it where a character will say something like, I'd rather get my eyeballs plucked out, and then later on, that's how they die. So this movie does that, foreshadowing their deaths. The bridge scene gave me a chuckle when it probably wasn't supposed to. You get your basic scene and skeptics. No, you get your basic seance scene. Skipped a word there. Yeah, so there's a seance done like every other seance scene. And there's skeptical characters that you just want to strangle. They take a shot every time Charlie snaps Michael back to reality, meaning like she'll be like, "Hey, where are you? Like, where you?" Like, she's like always like daydreaming or something. Her friend has to keep like snapping her out of it. It happens like a dozen times in like the first 30 minutes. It's like, Jesus, this again? It happens, yeah, half a dozen times. I wrote that too. Birds fly into the side of the building cliche. It's an average runtime, thankfully, and doesn't drag on too much. We see a parent mourn in one scene, which was the best performance in the movie. Don't usually see that a lot. A drawing on the wall looks like Gabriel in Malignant. Was that what that was supposed to be? Am I the only one who saw that? Look for it carefully. Towards like the 30-minute mark, there's like in her dorm room, there's a picture, like a pencil drawing on the wall that looked almost identical to Gabriel in Malignant, James Wan's movie. And so, yeah. I mean, this movie also has a similar theme to Malignant of the mind control. And I was not big on this movie either. 3 bad movies in a row. But here's a movie that I actually did kind of like. I thought this one was alright. And that's called From Black. Now, this is like a dark song from 2017 mixed with Hereditary vibes and a phenomenal, intense score and terrific performances. I think this movie has hands down one of the best soundtracks of the year. Only issues for me are it's, another familiar, generic, doesn't believe, non-believer on creepy. Wait, what am I saying? Fuck, my writing's all over the place. Doesn't deliver on creepy scares. That was another problem. There's not really any gory goodness in this. The third act lost a bit of steam. I love the demon design in this. The druggy ex-boyfriend was a funny asshole character. One scene at group therapy was shot just like Hereditary. And I liked the non-linear back and forth storyline. I was engaged almost throughout, although some will find it to be a boring slow burn, but I was taken in by the performances and dialogue and the soundtrack. It's shot well, looks good, but just needed a stronger finale once they get to the jail at the end. So that was my only main issue, was just could have used better scares, a better climax. So yeah, there you go. From Black, I recommend it. This one's got kind of a low rating. I think this is like a 5.1 on IMDb, but I enjoyed it. Hell House Origins, the 4th movie of the Hell House franchise, just came out Halloween night. Creepy, atmospheric, found footage sequel that's on par with the original and has some of the creepiest clown mannequins ever. They show those mannequins quite a bit. And what makes this one better than the last 2 movies is its cast of characters and their performances. Really liked them. I thought Margot was the best of the bunch and liked her personality. Liked how they tied the story to the Abaddon Hotel trilogy. There's a few callbacks for fans and to appreciate. The dark piano song comes back. And of course, the clown. In this movie, the hotel has been burned down, and so this story is at a manor one city over. And this is another one of those movies where you yell at the characters to just like pack up and leave. And they sometimes do things you don't think are wise, like searching dark closets alone. After they hear a strange sound, like, I'm going to go investigate. Like, no, don't do that. I don't like the camera glitching thing. Never do in found footage, especially when it doesn't make sense. It's uncalled for. They do that quite a bit in this. Every time they see a ghost on camera, the camera glitches a bunch. The third act started to lose a little bit of steam for a few minutes when they're just walking through the woods for a while. It kind of turns Blair Witchy and there's nothing happening. They're just walking and walking. Get a little bored there. But that was really the only downtime. The red ball bouncing on its own has been done to death at this point, like the Changeling and Conjuring. But in this one, we see 5 red balls bouncing on their own, which kind of made me laugh. I thought the score was really eerie. This is a found footage movie with a score. Most of them don't. And the hallway scene with the chase was the scariest sequence. It doesn't expand upon the hotel and the cult stuff from the first 3 that much. This movie is more just about internet sleuths investigating an unsolved murder from 1989 at a manor near the cult hotel, and they learn how this manor and the hotel are connected. I would say this is for fans of the trilogy and found footage type of movies. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I think if you like the first one, this one's about on par with the original, so check it out if you like the Hell House trilogy, like me. So with that being said, let's get to the ranking. So, let's get going. Number 4. I'm not going to talk about these movies because it's been a while since I've seen some of these, and they all kind of blur together a little because they're all at the same location, and they're just, yeah, the story is the same. They go to the hotel and there's creepy haunted shit happening. That something's there one minute, then it's not. But they're all enjoyable. But I think 3 is the weakest, and it's most people's least favorite. Just by looking at the IMDb rating and the Letterboxd score, this one is the lowest rated, but I still think these are all above average. I would still say check them out. Even like a fire. Like I remember one thing from this movie was the rotating camera, like in Paranormal Activity 3. They do that towards the end of this movie, and I thought that was kind of a cool scene. So yeah, that's all I'll say about that. Hell House 2. There's one memorable scare sequence in this, and it's my favorite kind of scare where it's not something in your face, it's something in the background, and there's just like this creepy ass face peeking into the door. And so that really like gave me goosebumps the first time I saw it. So that was effective. The characters in this one are all right. This one, is this the one with the TV news crew and there's like the fake psychic and they keep cutting to that like green screen TV interview? It seems very low budget, amateurish, that whole TV news segment. So that's what kind of weighs this one down, kind of takes you out of it. But yeah, it's more the same. They go to the hotel and they find out more about the cult. We get a little twist reveal about who is the leader of the cult from back in the day. So yeah, that's all I'll say about that one. Still good. I rate 2 and 3 the same, but the next 2 I rate the same also, but higher than 2 and 3. So number 2 is number 4. I wish I said is on par with the original. I rate it the same as the original, but I'll put this one at number 2 for now because I've only seen it once. I've seen the original 2 or 3 times. So maybe it's a little unfair, but whatever. This one's on par with the original, and I already said my thoughts on it, so we can just move on ahead to number 1, my favorite. I think what puts this one above part 4 is I think I like the characters in this one a little more. There's more of them, and I really like their chemistry. They're just pals setting up this haunted house. And I like the premise. They're there at this creepy abandoned hotel, and they're just setting it up to be a haunted attraction. And then as soon as they open up for the public, shit goes south very quickly. But you don't really see a lot happen once that happens. So I think that's most people's complaint is the ending is not very satisfying. But I still enjoyed it. It's got the creepy clowns in it, just like all the other ones, but this one did it first. So give it extra points for being the first one, and I think the scares are a little bit more effective in this one, and like I said, the characters are probably the best. So yeah, number 1, the original Hell House LLC, and this one has a director's cut, but I think it's only like a couple minutes longer. I haven't seen the director's cut. Is it better? Let me know. What do they add? Does it make a difference? So now that's over with. Get rid of that. And now we'll end this video with a found footage quiz. Now, I did not write these questions. Just want to say that, preface that. Did not write these questions. And one of them is a question about a movie that I don't think is a found footage movie at all. And I think you'll know which one when it pops up. But yeah, I didn't write these questions. So here you go. Let's start the quiz. All right, so question one. Which found footage horror movie arguably popularized the subgenre? Question two. What is the title of Paranormal Activity director Oren Peli's found footage alien movie? Question three. What was renowned film director Werner Herzog looking for in an early 2000s found footage mockumentary? Question four. Which of George Romero's zombie movies utilized the found footage technique? Question five. Which mythical creature are the British Cryptozoological Society looking for in the Dinosaur Project? Question 6. Which film in the Scary Movie spoof series features some sequences parodying the Paranormal Activity movies? Now, question 7 is which respected horror film director directed the 2013 found footage movie The Sacrament? Question 8. Guess the found footage horror movie from the following review. Brothers Grimm meets reality TV, the scariest movie since The Conjuring. Question 9. How long is the period of time in the Purge movies when all illegal acts are decriminalized? I don't think this is a found footage movie. That's the one I'm talking about. Question 10. Bob Weinstein of Dimension Films said in an interview with Entertainment Weekly that Apollo 18 was not a work of fiction. True or false? Question 11. How many sequels are there to Wreck? Not including Quarantine, which is the remake, the American remake, or Quarantine sequel. Question 12. For which 2000s found footage movie did some movie theater chains warn audiences that they might experience side effects of motion sickness? Question 13. Which Oscar-winning director made the found footage movie The Bay? Question 14. Why does Joseph in Creep say he wants a document of his life recording by Aaron? Question 15. What is the name of the found footage documentary film within Cannibal Holocaust? Question 16. Which found footage movie am I describing? There's a motel room, a honeymoon, a camping trip, some aliens, and a Halloween party. Question 17. Which found footage film's original title is Trollgejaren? Question 18. What is the name of the demon who possesses Nell in The Last Exorcism? Is it Abalam, Valak, or Bagul? Question 19. Which found footage film was it reported that Steven Spielberg got inexplicably locked in his own bedroom after viewing, forcing him to call for a locksmith? Question 20. Last question. In which British found footage movie do a group of flatmates make a video to show proof of the paranormal in order to win $1 million? There you go. All right. I think I knew most of those, except for a couple. The Steven Spielberg one, that's news to me. I didn't know that happened to him. It's kind of freaky. Yeah, The Purge. The Purge is not found footage, not to me anyways. I don't recall there ever being any found footage moments in that entire series. But whatever. I didn't write the questions. So yeah, there you go. Let me know your answers in the comments below. If you want, go right ahead, but keep all your answers in one comment. Try that. I don't want 20 comments. Just you can put them all in one. It's possible to do that. All right, so just do that. Don't flood the comments with 30 comments. Just keep it simple. One comment. All right, so there you go. What are your thoughts on the Hell House LLC quadrilogy? I'm sure there'll be more. But yeah, what's your ranking? Do you like these movies? Do you like found footage? Let me know all your thoughts on anything I talked about in this video in the comments below. And I will see you in episode 35 for whatever that will be. I don't know what it'll be about. So I'll leave that a mystery for now. See you later, guys.